All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm so excited to kick off 2023 with a free class for all of my musician friends. A little bit about me. If you haven't heard of me before, my name is Arden Leigh, and I am the sole proprietor of my solo project, Arden and the Wolves. And I am also the creator of the Repatterning Project, which is an 8-week course in mental health and wellness. And I am meeting today with my business coach for the Repatterning Project, Adam Lyons. And I'm really, really excited to team up. Basically, the reason I'm creating this class is being connected to many amazing artists in the music industry over the past several years, especially post-COVID, especially with the music industry changing so much, especially with streaming changing everything. I've been hearing a lot of artists in my field talking about being really stuck for ideas about making money, to really having a thriving career as an artist. Whether you're independent, whether you want to be with a label, whatever you want your own business to look like. And even if you are making money, perhaps, not necessarily even with your band project, but maybe you're making money as an artist doing something that you love to keep that cash flow coming in. I just want to stop seeing so many posts in my feed about artists selling their gear and not for the right reasons, right? If we buy some gear and then we're done with it, we don't want it anymore, that's cool, right? But as Adam will certainly say, there are better ways of making investments than paying full price for something and then selling it for less. So we're going to talk today about some awesome ways that musicians and musical artists in the field can bring in income without like killing their souls, like doing what they love, like putting their skill sets to good use and bringing in income from that. So Adam, thank you so much for being with me today. I'm so excited to have this chat. Why don't you tell folks a little bit about yourself and your own story, because your own story is really pretty incredible.
Thanks. Yeah. So I grew up with nothing. I was a janitor, and I now own 16 companies. In the last 3 years, I've consulted for over 2,000 companies, helping them grow and scale. I'm business partners with Roland Frazier, who's regarded as one of the leading experts in mergers and acquisitions in the world, and won a bunch of awards behind me, 2 Comma Club stuff and Wicked Smart Awards and stuff like that. I think I won the final Wicked Smart Award from the War Room. This is my number one, it's my favorite award. The War Room was a group of 294 of the best business minds and marketers in the world. And they had a competition 4 times a year for who was the smartest amongst them. And only people in the room could vote. So the only voters were other people doing, at least $10 million. And I won the final. So that's my favorite. They shut down the event. It was the final event, and I won the final competition, the big prize. So that's my biggest accolade. Not that anyone else cares outside that group. If you're in that group, it means a lot. So yeah, but I used to be in music, which is really cool. Not a lot of people know that. I worked with a company called Bug City Productions on Lady Marmalade by the All Saints. There you go. So that's the most famous thing I worked on. But,
that's so cool.
Yeah, I've worked on a whole bunch of other stuff as well. So yeah.
And you and I knew each other before you had built this really, amazing business empire for yourself. In fact, I remember you and I were friends when you were transitioning from being a dating coach to going into teaching business. And you were at a point in your life where you had run out of money. You had put so much into this film that you were doing. And I remember you were like, Arden, I just made the biggest investment in a business coach for myself. And I just maxed out all my credit cards, put in like $15,000. And I was so scared for you. I was like, oh my God, what is Adam doing? Is he going to be in debt for the rest of his life? And then I watched you as you just took, like, you were really like for a while, you were like at the bottom of the barrel. You were pretty scared. And then all of a sudden, I just saw you build this incredible, and it just didn't stop. You just kept going. And I've learned so much from you myself about income instinct, learning where to see opportunities for money. And I'm so glad, for myself, I am not a music producer. I pay my producers. So for me, creating my courses and doing some of the things that I'm good at outside of music are what fund my music. But I'm really excited to talk to you today and hear your take on what people who are extraordinarily talented, have so many amazing music production skills, music composition skills, sometimes music marketing skills too. Like, how can folks put those skills to use, bringing in income in a way that makes them happy, and that's like, inflow and bringing in abundance, and just doing stuff that they love, but being able to package those skills that they love and market them successfully to bring in income.
So I want to start with what triggered this whole conversation, because me and Arden, we know each other well, which was musicians selling instruments and equipment so that they can live. So I'm in the background, I was Googling just to learn some stuff. So you have to forgive me for a second, but I discovered the Gibson/Les Paul standard electric guitar Appetite Burst, which is $3,200. It took me a minute to find an expensive guitar, but it feels like this is probably a guitar because it's got Slash and Gibson, and I know both those names, and Les Paul. It feels like this is a good guitar. I don't know if this is a good guitar, people watching this, but it feels like if I was going to play electric guitar, I would probably want the Gibson/Les Paul electric, unless somebody knows something I don't. And the price is $3,200. Here's why this is important. In the film industry, and I like borrowing business models from different industries. It's super cool to borrow it from this industry and drag it into this one. In the film industry, a professional Arri camera. So I'm just going to do a Google. I want this to be very, very real. So an Arri Alexa camera is $45,000 right now. The person carrying that camera is a cameraman who normally owns their own camera. How the hell is someone earning 80 grand a year, maybe 100 grand a year, paying $50,000 for a camera? Well, because it's a tool of the trade. No, that's not what they do. They rent it out. Every weekend, they're not using it. Every day, they're not using it. They rent it out. So I have a buddy of mine, when he wanted to get into being a cinematographer, he knew he wanted a $100,000 camera. And he Googled how much they normally rent for. And then he put it up at half price and got a bunch of people being like, yeah, I'll rent that at half price. Heck yeah. And he pre-sold like 3 months worth of people renting this camera before he bought it. Then he goes to the store with all the cash from the people that are like, yeah, here's the money as a deposit, put that down as a deposit, put it on credit, and he bought the $100,000 camera and then just rented it out forever. And every year, well, actually it's every 2 years more like, when they bring out the new one, he would upgrade to the best one and always undercut the market. Now, he doesn't sell it for half price anymore. Now he sells it for rents it for 2/3. But the same thing, if I have a really cool guitar that I like, but I've got an opportunity to rent a Slash guitar for a big concert, and we'll get there in a minute, I might rent that for $300. And if you rent this guitar out 12 times for $300, it pays for itself.
That's such a great idea too, because there's so many different, like, especially in a lot of the dark music scene that I'm in, like so many folks are spending a lot of money on synthesizers because they can get these cool sounds out of them. And the idea of like, hey, can I rent this synthesizer for like 2 to 4 weeks so that I can get this cool sound for this one song that I want to record, but I don't need to buy it forever. And that way, the people who are renting are not spending as much money. I mean, honestly, like this is also a great idea just for musicians in the same network, just to like, even just to barter or loan each other, right? Now that way they're not all buying like the same equipment that maybe everyone in the network has. It's such a great idea to like, yeah.
You got it, yeah. And it's standard in film. In film, it's standard. Even lenses, like lenses are crazy expensive. And people rent lenses for large sums of money. So same thing, I would just borrow from that industry and be like, great, okay, this is now what we do. And, I'm the guy with the synthesizer. I bought it. Anyone wants it? And again, I wouldn't just lend it. I'd be like, no, you're gonna have to pay it because I've got repayments. Like, you're gonna have to rent this thing. But if you went to this other rental house, they're going to charge you this much. I'll charge you 2/3. It's cheaper from me because we're friends, but it's going to have, and you're going to have to get insurance on it and, all that stuff and look after it. And, but it works. And this is a very cool model. And then what's great about it is you can put that up on Craigslist or the equivalent, or any Facebook groups that you're in where you've got other musicians. Be like, hey guys, just a reminder, I've got this equipment available. I don't have a show this weekend or this week. If anybody wants to rent it, it's available. Now, where this gets really cool, especially synthesizers and stuff like that, especially if you're a producer, you could be like, again, there should be no days off. I know this sounds crazy, but take your days off for your day. Like take Saturday, Sunday off or whatever your Monday, Tuesday, whatever your 2 days are. But the other 5 days, if you're not working, you're working, right? Because you're supposed to work 40 hours a week. And I know this idea, I'm a musician, I'm not going to do that. No, the most successful musicians I work 80 hours a week, right? You're going to work. If you're not
yeah,
working,
the musicians I know, they're all in the studio sometimes 15 hours a day. Like you can't tear them away from it.
right. But you should be getting paid for that work.
Yeah. Yeah.
So here's how it works. There is no such thing as working for nothing. So for me, if I was a musician and I was good at it, I would allow students to pay me $5 an hour to sit in with me and listen. And it's cheap. It's only $5 an hour, but I'll take 6 students at once. And I'll reach out to colleges and high school kids, and I'll have adverts everywhere and be like, hey, I'm a producer. I produce 15 hours a day. If you want to see what it's really like, work in a real studio, ask questions. It's $5 an hour, minimum 3 hours, because otherwise you're not going to learn anything. $15, come down whenever you want. And I would have a rota of 30, 40 kids that are coming in and listening. And now I'm getting paid $20 to $30 an hour to do what I'm normally doing.
Yeah, and folks can do this on Zoom or Twitch too. Like you can screen share your, I've known artists who have done, artists who had already made it to a certain level have streamed their entire album production process on Twitch just to market the album, right? But if someone is a producer, they can take on people who are interested in learning about music production, charge, again, like you were saying, a nominal fee, whatever feels good to them, for those people to come in on their Zoom sessions. And the only difference is they're going to have to, narrate and explain a little bit about what they're doing as they're doing it. Right. But how amazing to sit there and produce music that you would be producing anyway and get paid to do it, even though you get to keep all your music.
Yeah, so like I learned the ukulele because I wanted to sing my kids to bed, and so I was a singer and producer, but I couldn't play instruments really. So I hired a guy to teach me to play the ukulele. Now, when I looked for the guy to hire, I found the #1 guitarist in our area, and he was like he's got a band and he performs, but when he's not doing that, he's a music teacher for hire. And so I was like, how much? And he's like, it's $50 an hour. And I was like, okay, great. I'll pay $50 an hour. And I learned ukulele from this guy. But what was cool is he would, we did it over Zoom. He would do it while he was getting ready for his shows. And again, it just meant sure there was no downtime. And we'd talk about his shows. But you know what? He would give me a free ticket to his show. And I would invite my friends. And now we've got 10 people going to his show.
And then he's got more fans and more ticket sales. Yeah.
Right. I had a free ticket. My friends didn't have a free ticket. Or I had like 3 free tickets, enough to be an awkward group that other people would want to come. And of course, we all bought drinks and we all bought food. And we reinforced this thing. And actually, my babysitter is his biggest fan and follows him everywhere he goes and still goes to all of his concerts and loves him and became like a huge fan of his, right? Not me, but her. So he got a lifelong fan. So that's the other piece. Like, don't shy away. Like, let's just say you're worth $200 an hour. I get it, but don't shy away of having pricing for students. Don't shy away from having a cheaper price. That doesn't diminish your studio rate. Your studio rate is your studio rate. But let me teach you because you're a kid or you're a rich idiot that wants to sing to his kids. There's a price for you too, right? And I'm not going to pay $300 an hour, but $50 an hour, sure. And it still makes sure you're still getting paid all the time. So
I'm going to say you should pay $300 an hour.
Right, but that's the thing. I would never have done it. Like at $300 an hour, I'm like, whatever, I'll go on YouTube. But at $50 an hour, I'm like, sure, the ukulele was $80, whatever, I'll do it. But, but the fans I got him and the followings I got him was worth more. And also, you don't know this, but the kind of ukulele I want to play was a baritone ukulele, which is a different kind of ukulele. And he didn't have one. And I bought myself one and I liked it. And then I bought the really expensive one. And he was trying to use a guitar to kind of teach me and it didn't work. So I bought him one and sent him an expensive baritone ukulele. So
how neat.
That made me cry. So, and that was worth more, I think, than everything. It was like an electric.
So it was a pretty good deal. Yeah.
It was, yeah. And it was like, he was very unexpected. He's like, I can't believe you just bought me this. I was like, well, it's hard to learn. You're on the wrong fucking instrument. Like, let's go, right? So absolutely. Yeah. And so it's stuff like that. So that's the first piece, right? So that's that. Next, there has been a proven method to become famous nowadays. I've got a bunch. I still stay in music. I've still got an A&R person that I know really, who's pretty serious about it. Actually, it's pretty cool. But he works with some really big bands. It's weird. I'm still kind of in the industry, but not because I don't do anything financially in the industry. But anyway, there's some really good artists that are crushing it, and the way they're doing it is they are releasing songs constantly, like a machine. And
Oh
I
yeah.
call this the Lily Allen strategy,
This
where
is this
Lily
has
Allen was
actually
on
been
MySpace.
a pretty big topic in some of the circles that I've been in. One of my friends and colleagues, Daniel Graves, who is the frontman of Aesthetic Perfection, did a project via his Patreon, and you know, if we get enough, you know, if we get enough subscribers, we'll, you know, put all these songs together on an album kind of thing. And what he did was 12 songs in 12 months. So it was like constantly, you know, and I saw his fan base like being like, oh, it's March. What song is it going to be this time? What song is I was there being like, oh my God, what song is it going to be next month? You know, so yeah, you know, people's attention spans, you know, and I'm totally not taking my own advice. Like I absolutely recorded a full length album that I plan to release as a full length album. To be fair, I recorded that album so I could sell it to a label and get a label deal, which is my preference. It's not everyone's. But
Totally.
in general, you know, people's attention spans, you put out a full album and they listen to it a couple times, and then 2 weeks later, you know, they're on to the next thing that's out. So yeah, I agree with you 100%.
And the ones that are crushing it are doing a song a week or a song a day. So to really get this, like, it's more than you want, and that's the point. The winners at this game are the ones that are doing more than anyone else. So there are two strategies that I really, really like right now for marketing, for songs. And I'm going to cover everything, right? But one of them is Ethan Bortnick, who wrote a song called Engravings. And I think this guy was a genius. This is like probably my favorite musical tactic right now. He's a very talented piano player. And he actually has a classic riff from a classical song. I forget which one it was now, but I did know it the other day and I've forgotten it right now. But it's where you go all the way up the piano and whatever. But it's a really classical piece. Anyway, Ethan would set up his studio, so it's got all the lights and everything. And he went on Omegle and connected with random people and said, hey, can I, like, and he acted weird. He's like, hey, can I play you a song I wrote? And they'd be like, yeah. And he went straight into the chorus, into this incredible piano piece, played it for like 15 seconds. Just as it was about to get into the good bit, he'd stop and go, what do you think? And they'd be like, oh, are you kidding me? Because they want to hear the rest. So he would stop them almost like just after the beat drops, but before you get the rest, right? Like, so you can tell it's amazing, but then it's the end, right? And then he'd be like, what do you think? And he did this with like hundreds of people, specifically women, because he would filter them out. And then he
Wait, why
uploaded the video.
specifically women?
Because he was a guy and he was a young teenager, so he's trying to do the fan,
Oh, he
fandom
was killing
thing.
two birds with one stone. Okay.
Right, yeah.
Like, wait a
But
minute.
he uploaded one after the other to his social media to show people reacting. And a lot of them didn't have many views, like 500 views, 600 views. But times 700, that was a lot of views. But what was crazy was when those people found the videos, they shared it because they're like, I'm in this one. And it went like a spider web. And I thought that was phenomenal. Like that, the best strategy I've seen. And the other one I like is Rock Bottom by AK. I actually am not allowed to listen to the song because it triggers my depression because it's that good. And so I refuse to listen to it.
Fair enough. We all have some of those songs.
Right, it's that good. But what I like about it is the way he did it is he had a really good riff. It was a really good like beat drop chorus thing again. And a lot of people are doing this now where he's in the studio dressed like a producer. And he's like, and the quote is like, when the weird kid comes in and you're sure he's going to drop like nothing, like something terrible.
I've seen those. Right? Yeah, I've seen those TikToks.
And then he comes in and he's dressed up like you can barely see him. And, he's in a hoodie and he's got his headphones on and he's like, just hit the track. And the guy's like, all right. And he hits it. And then he goes straight into this banging chorus and it goes wild. And then he reacts to himself and he's like, that was good. And he's propping himself up, but it's really good because it's part of the song. And I think this is what people are doing really good. They're taking a part of the song that's really good and then saying, if you want to hear the whole song, go get it. But they're releasing them so often, like I said, like one a week, that you hear a part and you're, oh, I gotta hear it. So
yeah, and you can even take your existing songs and divide them up into different parts, and then you have like 4 or 5 pieces of content from one song.
Absolutely. And I think, and telling the story about where the song came from is a key component. So another guy I like is Umet Oz. Yeah. He wrote a song called Bifrost, and he wrote another song called Xanadu. Umet is doing something that I see a lot in film, which I love crossover stuff. He's taking 2 styles of music and merging them. So he's taking Mongolian throat singing. In Bifrost, he merges it with Viking runes. In Xanadu, he merges it with techno music. And then he's got a new one coming where he's merging it with Turkish music. So he's found one thing, which is his Mongolian throat singing, and he's just combining it with different things. Because again, if somebody likes Mongolian throat singing, oh, that's kind of cool. And then he's like, I'm going to do this with an English ballad. You're like, I want to hear what that sounds like. And you're going to listen to him. And then if he's like, now I'm going to do rap music, I want to hear Mongolian throat singing with rap music. And each time he does that, he adds more people to his audience who are now, I want to hear that. So it's like, if you're into rap and you're like, oh, I wonder what it sounds like with Mongolian throat music, you're going to combine it. So he's already got the fans of Mongolian throat music plus all these other ones, which I think is really cool when you do that combination. And actually, it's one of the things I loved about you when you did Mary Did You Know? I thought that was very good. Same kind of thing where
thank you.
You don't always hear the song in that style. And I like that. Like, I think that's really, really, really smart. So that's the other way. So now we've got, okay, so if I'm going to be a musician today, right, I'm going to make a song every day. I would do one every day. I'm going to make the song topical. That's the other part. This is the part that really sets it apart. Like, it's got to be topical. So you're talking about the NFTs crashing when the NFTs crash. You're talking about the economy. You're talking about Biden. And this is, like I said, the Lily Allen thing. This just works. You're going to do 50 of these and they're going to fail. And then
I also just want to say, while you're saying this, like, these do not need to be like fully produced out songs. If someone is just looking to gain traction, just I've seen people go viral with like literally just a ukulele. There was a, I don't know if you remember that girl. It was during the Me Too movement, and she sang this song, just her and a ukulele, just on an iPhone video, and it was like, it's a scary, scary time for boys, and she's kind of making fun of, oh, it's a scary time for boys, but it's been a scary time for women the whole time. And she blew up because it was exactly what everyone was talking about at the time. So I just want to emphasize, to those who are watching, that this doesn't have to be like, oh, you have to produce a whole song in a day. Because when artists and myself included, right, we're such perfectionists. We want everything to be right. It's okay for the tracks that are going to go onto your album to be something that takes you months and that you really work on. But in order to gain more of your audience, don't be afraid to put out. I mean, I will listen to Daniel Graves sing about his cat on his Instagram stories. Like, don't be afraid to put out something that is that's just meant to catch the moment and not meant to be like a staple on the album necessarily.
And I think a good example of that was The Wellerman, which wasn't topical necessarily, but it was just this post guy who, like, he was a post delivery guy who just hit his hand and sang an old song, but that was it. It went nuts. And then they fully produced it, and and it became a thing. So yeah, but you should definitely get in a rhythm. Or even if every day is too much, try like Tuesday, Thursday, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Monday, Thursday, right? Twice a week. But I would do it more than a week because you want the volume. Volume is going to be key. And listen to the audience. Don't get upset. If they give you feedback, listen to it and take it on board. They're shaping what they want to hear. That's the key. Because that's what a record label is going to do anyway, is just listen to the audience and get you to shape it to what they want, which is why Avril Lavigne wasn't a carbon copy of Britney Spears, which she would have been. They were like, no, the audience wants something different. Now we're going to change it. Listen to the audience. You don't need the record label to tell you that. You can just listen to them and tweak it and tweak it and tweak it. Start by showing them all the different things you can do. See what they love. They go, I love this. Now that's what you do. A really good example of that right now is Dream Kid. Like I said, I'm still really into music. Dream Kid 83. He's on Instagram. he does not, he blew up. He went from 6,000 followers to 70,000 followers in a week, which was the week I found him. He does 1980s movie synth sound alikes, and then use that to launch his album, which was all 1980s style music of him singing. But he doesn't sing in the sound alikes, but he does on the album. And it was great. It totally made me go and get his album, right? Because I was like, oh, I love these sound alikes. I went to his, I don't like his album, but I love the sound alikes. And I bought the album and realized I don't like it, but whatever. Yeah. So so that's a good example, right? So I like those strategies for making the songs. The question is, okay, I've got a little bit of money coming in because I'm smart about my equipment and I'm smart about my time and I'm doing some classes and I'm creating a song every day. Okay, that's great. And I got followers and I'm doing the Omegle thing for my really good song because I'm gonna get it out there. I think the Omegle thing's killer. Only one person's done it. So I think everyone, like, this is a good example of if only one person's done it, 4 or 5 other people should do it right now. So that should be, take your best part, your best song. You know, Arden, you should redo Mary. Did you know? I think you should, like, right now, go on Omegle because you're hot and just, hey, do you mind if I sing you a song? No? And then you just sing that one bit. What do you think? And you just get like 1,000 of those, and I think you'll go crazy. That's my genuine belief because I love your music. But anyway,
thank you.
What
I'd also love to chat about though is so many musicians are producing their own work, but where they miss an opportunity for money is actually they're missing the opportunity to produce music for other people. And when you think about like being in the music industry, and like this is why I got into the music industry, right? It's the big dream. I don't have any production skills. I'm a good singer. I'm a good songwriter, but the Pinosu that I just released last week is the first time I've ever even played an instrument on a song. I learned piano. It took me like literally 30 days of practicing every day. But what that means is that I need to actually pay people to produce music for me. And in order for me to be able to hire a producer and also to really trust that they know what they're doing and that it's worth the investment for me, then I'm going to need to feel the energy of someone who is confident running their business as a producer. And I see a lot of artists, saying things like, I do remixes for bands, or they paid me a couple $100, and it's like, that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. But really, like when we're marketing a service, we want to go where the money is. And so I always tell, I tell my musician friends, I'm like, look, if you want to make more money doing what you love, then you can take your skill set as a producer and produce for other people. And you're not going to the people who are already in the music networks that you're in. You're not going to the people who are already surrounded. I can work now with people very cheaply. And sometimes I work with them at barter, like no cost whatsoever. We just do a collaboration, which is great, right? Or all it costs me is my studio time going in and recording as a singer, right? Which is still costing me something. But before this, right? Before, when I was living in New York, when I just started my band, the reason that I was able to start my band is I had some decent money coming in at the time. And I all of a sudden realized, like, wait a minute, I could have a band this is something I can pay for. This is something I can throw money at. And to this day, I still hire a lot of, amazing producers, especially doing my work, doing my solo work that I really care about, that I want to be able to have that creative control and work with someone. And you will never believe, it was end of last year at tax time. And one of my producers calls me up and says, Arden, can I send you a, what is it? Like a 1060, not a 1099, 1066. It's for when you've paid the person money. And he was like, it would really help me to be able to work with he's Canadian. So he was, some immigration, stuff coming to the US. Yeah. He's like, it would really help me to be able to declare the income that you paid me for this year. So I can prove that I'm doing artistic work that I deserve to stay in the United States, basically. So I was like, yeah, sure. I'll write it off, have your accountant do the thing. Right. So he tallied up all the money I spent on him. Adam, it was like $40 away from being $10,000. And this is like in 1 year.
I love that you shared that. And that's exactly it. Like, by all means, if you've got talent, like, use it to help others get where they want to go and charge for it. Right. I think that's an absolute no brainer. And like, yeah, 10 grand, that's a lot of money for that guy.
Yeah. And so what's important to me when I hire someone is first of all, do they have a clear offer, right? I don't, and in this case, actually, like this was a referral. So in that case, the referral kind of, took precedence. But
Right.
we're all connected to so many networks, and so many musicians are also in places where they're running into people who are music fans but not music industry, right? So something that I had once shared with a former bandmate of mine, and he never used it, so I'm just going to put this out there. I'm just going to give this business model for free, because he
Because
never
he
used
didn't.
it. He
Yeah.
quit the band. So oh well, he had it for a couple of years, so I'm just going to give this like for free. So he was someone who is a beat producer, right? Could make beats, and also made a living by DJing, right? So basically what I said is he was like, he was the person who was like, oh, I've started doing some more remixes for bands, it gives me a couple $100 here and there. I'm like, cool, that's great, keep doing that. But that's not where your real money is. Your real money is when you're out DJing at the club, and it's going to be from trust fund kids, who have money to spend on art, who can afford to pay a premium. And and frankly, anyone who is bringing in income outside of the industry. When I first started my band, I was a stripper. I was a stripper in New York City, and I was walking out with usually over $1,000 a night. And so for a producer to come to me and say, yeah, for that $1,000, and now I'm paying more per track, but at the time I was paying a producer 1,000 a track. But for $1,000, you can have a song, and I'm like, I could have a song on Spotify, and I could listen to it over and over again, and I could hear myself sing.
Right. That's cool.
Absolutely, that is absolutely worth one night of work for me, right? So I really encourage people to, the networking that we do with our colleagues in the music industry is so key, right? It's going to help us get gigs. We're going to be able to open for other bands. We're going to be able to do collaborations and swap our audiences. But I really want to emphasize to people, like, it's kind of like how you say, like, with fitness trainers, right? Like, fitness trainers don't go to the gym for your clients. You want people who are like trying to go to the gym, right? like the go
Right.
get
Yeah.
people
Yeah. You're
who are
far
looking for that.
better off. Yeah. You're far better off like hanging out with people who are trying to find a wedding dress that fits. They're going to go to the gym and be a
Right.
good fitness trainer and pay a lot of money, because they're
Yeah.
like, no, I'll pay you double if I can be twice as fit in less time.
Right.
Yeah. No.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree 100%. And then and the
Let's say someone is looking to basically hire out their production skills, right? They're ready to produce a new artist. Now I see a lot of artists being like, hey, I'm producing stuff, like, hit me up for rates. And that'll be the post. Like, that'll be it. And it's like, no, we're not gonna come and find, like, you need to inspire me. So I'm actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share my screen briefly for a moment, because I actually wrote this up, and I put this in a class that's on my website called how come that's so small? Mm-mm-mm-mm. Here we go. Called Mellow Money, right? And it's a class for people who are creatives or who have a specific skill set to learn how to market themselves, right? So this was something I originally wrote up for again, a friend of mine in the music industry who I was encouraging to do this, right? Who had a bunch of DJ nights and production skills. Was a really good beat maker and would DJ like 3-4 nights a week at least, right? So this is an example of a post that I made, and I encouraged him. I said, you're going to charge $2,000 a track, right? And that, for everyone, your comfort level might be different. You might be an experienced veteran who's like, I'm going to charge at least $3,000 to $5,000. Cool, right? You might be like, $2,000 sounds really, really scary, which is what this person said to me. And I was like, all right, we're going to start you off in an introductory rate, but you're going to work up to $2,000, right? So here's the marketing copy that I wrote for for this imaginary scenario. Well, it was a real scenario, but right now it's imaginary. Nowadays, with distribution and crowdfunding, it's easier than ever to get your music into the world, create a fan base, and earn revenue through streaming and Patreon. That means pursuing your music dreams is easier than it's ever been in history. And this is true, right? The market is also oversaturated, but if you just want to be an artist and, and look cool among your friends, which is absolutely why I got started in music to begin with. It wasn't until like 2 EPs into my career that I actually started taking myself seriously. But if you don't already know how to produce music, you need someone you can trust to bring your vision into reality, right? So already we're saying like, I'm gonna guide you on this client experience, right? I'm the one who's in the driver's seat and I'm gonna take us where we want to go, but I promise you're gonna be happy with the product. I've been creating music in the music industry as a producer, guitarist, etc. for X amount of years. Before the pandemic, I spent most of my time DJing, but with more free time on my hands, I've been working with more and more artists in the studio. If you've had dreams of making a career as a singer-songwriter, and like seriously, who has not at some point, right? I'd like to help you make that dream a reality. Together, we'll find out what kind of music you're most excited about making, what you want it to sound like, and then we'll create your song, EP, or full-length album. At the end of the process, you'll receive your fully mixed and mastered track, ready to immediately post for distribution through any of the free platforms available for self-releasing. And to top it all off, as a graduation bonus, this is my idea, I'm very proud of this one. You and 10 of your friends will get a VIP guest list spot to hear your song played at one of my local DJ nights. Who doesn't want that experience, right? What people are paying for is the experience of having a producer produce them on a song, help them to sound good, help them to sound their best, and then go to the club and hear their song played in the club by the producer who is DJing, right? Who they just worked with. I'm offering 3 introductory artist spots valued at $2,000 each at half price, $1,000 in exchange for a testimonial that I can use on my site, right? So you give me, as long as you like the song, you come back and you tell me how awesome it was to work with me. And I also put you on my website as one of my clients, which also gets your song more promotion because people will come to my website and then they'll also learn about you as an artist. If you know you're ready and you want in, comment below or send me a message, right? So this is, as you know, like, and you were my business coach for most of this process, right? But I spent some time in the business coaching world learning how to make those clear offers. So I really want to encourage producers out there, don't just like say like, hey, I produce music, DM me for rates, right? You want to really inspire people. You want to take them on that journey, and they have to know like what your price is. You have to make that clear offer, that package, right? So in the example that I gave, right, it's a $2,000 value song for the first 3 people. I'm going to do it for only 1,000, right? And this is what you're going to get out of it. You're going to get your song. You're going to get I'll help you upload it onto distribution, right? I'm going to give you as a bonus a free ebook on how to promote yourself on TikTok or whatever. You write that up once and then you can give that to all your clients as a bonus. I have a producer who really put some effort into making a really great Spotify playlist. And I encouraged him, I was like, I think you should, when you work with your clients, if they do a song with you, put their song on your playlist, and that's like their bonus for working with you. So if I'm between a couple of producers, if I'm like, oh, I could go to this one, I could go to this one. Oh, but I know if I go to this one, not only will the song be great, but he's going to put it on his playlist. It's immediately going to get a big boost in the algorithm because his playlist now has so many likes and so many listeners. So there's all those kind of things that you can do. And it's really, when someone just says like, hey, I produce music, DM me for my rates, I'm not inspired by that. I mean, maybe because I'm in the industry, if I've seen what they've been posting for a while and I see their work, then maybe I would know to look for that. But ultimately, if you are looking for that person who is not in the music industry but has money and wants to sound cool, right? Who cares if they're a hobbyist, right? You get to help someone enjoy the feeling of listening to themselves, having written and sung a song. You get to bring that joy to their hearts, and you're making good money, charging a premium to do something that you love and that you're good at. And yeah, maybe it's not your own music, right? Maybe it's not, but you're still getting all the use out of all the equipment and the gear that you bought, and you're helping to offset that cost by using it to produce for other people. And and I also and I said too, right, let's say, right, you finish that song, you play that for the artist at your DJ night in the club, and you have that guest list with 10 friends. How many of those 10 friends are going to be like, this is so cool, like I want to do this next, right? And there's your next client pool. So it's so possible to take the skills that you have as an artist and to monetize them. And I'm saying this like, I don't even produce music, right? But I pay people I pay people to help me make my music. It's how I got started in the industry. And I just see, when musicians are bummed out that their own band is not making the money that they want it to make, which again is tough, right? This is not the low-hanging fruit. This is like to get your band to actually make money, it takes years sometimes in the industry, unless you, for some reason, you blow up, you get a big label deal, cool, right? But if not, you're going to want to
Right.
use those same skill sets that you're using for your own music and just do it for other people and charge them a premium, charge them a rate that is befitting of you as a professional in the music industry, someone who can charge several $1,000s a track. And there you go. Now you're bringing in money, and you didn't have to get a day job. You can schedule it around your other work. You can schedule it around tour, and you're bringing in money, and you're making clients, and you're doing what you love.
And not have to sell your equipment.
Yeah.
I love what you wrote. I have a format that we use for creating offers. We charge 25 grand at the moment for doing this. But what I've done is, while you were talking, I punched in how I would tweak it for music, and I put it in the chat. So this is for anyone to use. I put some of it in brackets so you can tweak it, but it will go like this. I'll produce a professionally mastered song for you in the style of underground rock, is what I put, but put whatever you want in there, without you needing any equipment or even knowing how to use it. I'll do your first song for $1,000, usual price $2,000. So that way you can say, look, this is $2,000, but your first one's only going to be $1,000.
Introductory offer,
and I'll get I'll get the song done within 14 days, including alterations, or you won't pay me a penny. Sign up today, and I'll even share the finished song to my own audience and fans. DM me, and I'll share 3 samples of work I've done for others. So
brilliant.
What I like,
so good.
What I like about this, it's very subtle, because the call to action is just to listen, not to buy. But you've now got the conversation going, right? It's like, oh yeah, I'd like to listen to some of your work. Now, a musician should do this anyway, a producer should do this anyway, just because now you've got people asking to listen to your work. That's great. You've also said that your price is $2,000 per track, or change the numbers to be whatever you want. What I like about the introductory song, and this is very important, I would say only the first song has the 14-day guarantee as well. So, and that's a key part. It doesn't specifically say it, but it is in there, because it says I'll get the song done. So I would say to him, listen, just so you know, before we start, the first song's $1,000. This is just to show you how good I am and how quick I can be. I cannot produce them at this price forever. It's supposed to be $2,000. This is an introductory rate. You will be paying $2,000 for anything else. Also, as part of the introduction, I'm going to do this in 14 days. I'm going to be saying no to other projects to prove to you how good I am. Normally it takes whatever time. And now there is a condition to this. To satisfy that condition, any alterations you want to make have to come back to me within this period of time, or else not. And so the way I would look at this is, I would be like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This, I'm going to do it. I'm going to commit to, 1 alteration a day. Maybe it's 7 days, not 14. I don't know how long you want. But like, the way I would look at that is, okay, I'm going to get paid $1,000 for 7 days if I do a great job. If the client is an asshole and I don't like them, this is really easy. You just give them their $1,000 back straight away on like day 2 and be like, thank you very much. You only lost 2 days. Thank you. We're not working together at the end. So don't think I'm going to work 7 days and it's going to suck. You only do the 7 days if you're like, you know what, this person's actually pretty cool and I don't think they're going to get a refund. And they're probably going to buy other songs. So this is how I would write it. It's small, it's simple. It'd fit in an Instagram post. You could like screenshot it and tweak it a bit, but that's kind of how I would do it. It satisfies a lot of what's needed in marketing, which is, here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to do a professional standard. This is the style. And you don't need to do anything beyond what you're good at. Like, I'll do everything else. This is the price. It's normally this. I'll do it in this amount of time, including tweaks, or you don't pay. That's the guarantee. The bonus, sign up today, and I'll do this additional thing I don't have to do, but I'll do it. And then the only step you have to take is listen to some music. You don't have to buy anything. So there you go. That's the piece.
Amazing. I love that. And think about also, if a musician does have a fan base that they have built up a little bit, how amazing would it be, even as a VIP experience, right? Hey, come spend a day with me in the studio. We'll write a song and we'll make a demo together, and it's this much money. That actually happened to me for although it was for charity. It was for a charity event, but that's how I ended up doing a song, like co-writing a song with Nicholas Patrica from Walk the Moon. Right? Walk the Moon has like 10 million Spotify listeners. They are crazy successful. And I happened to be at this benefit for the Amazon rainforest that Nicholas, it's a passion that really, it's something that he really feels very strongly about. And so he chose to add to the raffle, a day in the studio with him to make a demo. And I was just like, I will buy every ticket. Right. And so, yeah. So So being able also to leverage your skills both, you know, as a professional producer and also as someone who is, you know, who has a fan base that fans just want to like hang out with you and learn what you do and how you do it. And, you know, to someone who's a fan, especially who's an aspiring musician who really wants to be able to know how you get your sound and how to sound like you, like that would be something that like, that would be #1 on my Christmas list. I would tell everyone like, just please just chip in for this experience. This is all I want for my birthday. You
I
know,
love that, right? Yeah, and to me, I
that's
think
how I
that's
do
what
that.
I know. So heck yeah. I think if somebody follows everything we said, they'll be making tons of money or a lot of money. You know, like I think this is easily 70 grand a year, 80 grand a year in just doing music stuff, right? Which is, I suppose, the dream. Like maybe not millionaire, but
My producer just bought a really nice house in Woodland Hills. Like a
right, exactly.
really nice house, you know, and that's what he does, is he produces music. So thank you so much, Adam, for your time today. This has been incredible. I'm always so grateful for your wisdom. Do you want to tell people like where they can find you in case anyone is interested in more business solutions?
I mostly just did this for you, but if everybody does want to, it's at the Adam Lyons, Lyons on Instagram. I've got a million fake accounts that follow me, sorry in advance. But that's the real me, at the Adam Lyons, Lyons. Just come say hi, and if you want some direction for more free stuff, I will point you in the direction of free stuff.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Adam. You're the best.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon.
You too. Bye.